Hello, beautiful simmers. Today we're going to be going over some of the hints and stuff that we've been seeing for The Sims 4 Enchanted by Nature expansion pack. Now, I know I'm a little late to this. I had some mic issues and some speaker issues, so thank you for being patient with me while I got that figured out. So I'm sure you guys have seen the Sims 4 roadmap for the next few months, but just in case, on June 12th, we'll get the Enchanted by Nature expansion pack reveal. And June 24th, we'll get the Nature's Calling event, which I am uploading another video about. And then June 26th, Enchanted by Nature gameplay trailer. Then we get into July, we'll get a free base game update, and then July 10th is Enchanted by Nature expansion pack launch, and then August 19th is a free base game update. But this video is all about the hints for the Enchanted by Nature expansion pack. So let's get into that, and throughout the video, we'll also take a look at what The Sims 3 had for fairies. Let's get into it. As you may or may not know, the Sims team or EA, whatever, has a website that is called somethingisgrowing.com. In this website, we do get some hints at this new Enchanted by Nature expansion pack, so let's go over those. Get lost in Innisgreen. You peek through the leaves and see a quaint town. The sign reads Innisgreen, a beautifully lush world where Sims live in harmony with nature. You discover there are 3 neighborhoods to explore: a quiet waterfront town where they're all about gnomes, a grove where nature and civilization blend together, and an enchanting magical forest. What else awaits you here? Get lost in natural living. You wake up under the stars and see other Sims meeting their needs outdoors without beds or plumbing. You're hungry, but you spot some delicious looking mushrooms by a tree. Looks like you'll sustain yourself just fine. Get lost in 3 new traits. 3 new traits will play a role in how Sims relate to their world. You befriend fellow plant lovers, have enlightening encounters with mystical Sims, and even have run-ins with disruptive Sims. Oh no, now everything's out of balance. Get lost in ailments. You've been feeling a little funny. An ailment with the strange effects has befallen you. You learn you have to work hard to put the cure together, but it's not all bad. It turns out honing the apothecary skill is fun, and who knows, it might even lead you to a new career path. Get lost in enchantment. You're awakened at dawn to the sound of high-pitched laughter, somehow both sweet and sinister. All of a sudden, you're met with a magical presence. You're a little afraid at first, but you learn to embrace all the wonder and mischief these creatures' abilities can bring. Nurturing plants, influencing emotions, and a whole lot more you're still yet to discover. Eyes weary with sleep, you look around at a strange and wonderful surroundings. Living at one with nature, with enchanting new friends, and even a new career. You have a feeling you'll be right at home, and so your new life begins. Yesterday on Twitter or X, The Sims did post this picture of somethingisgrowing.com. They also posted some behind the scene footage. Now, if we're just taking a look at these pictures, which personally I'm going to use as some hints as well, I'm gonna say we'll be getting some new walkways or some new stones here, and maybe even a new table. Is that a fire? That's not a fire pit, is it? That's more of like the plant was coming up. But maybe this wall here, obviously some plants, some rocky area. It would be cool to see more string lights. I do like that. But you can see there's this door here. Are we going to be getting a door that looks a little bit blue? I don't know. Moving on to the next behind the scenes. We've got, again, we have this little pathway and they're blowing some little smoke. And I do wonder what this smoke is going to be, because I feel like that's got to be an implemented game. Something is going to happen to where smoke starts to come. I don't know if your sim is going to be like a fairy or like mess something up. I don't know, but it would like to see it. Going to the next one, and perhaps my favorite. Look at that night sky, the glowing green lights, and then we've got the glowing mushrooms down here. And this table actually has some lights here, which is pretty cool. So I'm gonna guess that that's gonna be implemented as well. Yeah, see, this is one of the teasers that we got from Something is Growing. Now, it is a plant coming out. Now look, here is a potion that is spilled, and we've got the clouds that are just kind of getting a green haze to it. I don't know, I'm thinking it's kind of cool though. I'm really liking the look of this. Now we've got the little gnome hopping around. Are gnomes actually gonna be there hopping around? Is it going to be just fairies, or are we going to have a world filled with a bunch of gnomes just bobbing around? I don't know. Gnomes aren't my favorite thing. I could honestly do without them. I'd rather have zombies. That's just me. I think they'd be a lot cooler than the gnomes personally, but whatever. What do I know? As those teasers did say, we are getting 3 new worlds, which is going to be pretty awesome, because I'm not gonna lie, I am a bit keen on new worlds. Like, I feel like we need a lot more worlds, and honestly, I feel like we need another world that they just add to the base game that is another world of empty lots, because I do so much building or downloading houses from the gallery and whatnot. But anyways, let's go through and see what we can find on this little picture. So it looks like we do have a little fairy flying here. It looks like she might be holding something, but you can see the wings. And then we have another fairy over here. It looks like she's doing some sort of a, I want to say spell, but those are for the spellcasters. So looks like she's doing some sort of mischief on, I'm gonna guess that's a child sim, I don't know, but we have a little fairy here that's kind of flying. So yes, we will be getting fairies, allegedly. And we have a fairy over here. It looks like she's doing, or he, I can't really tell right now, but it looks like they're doing something with this tree trunk here. Guy's sleeping there, I don't know, but we do have some plants. These ones are from the base game. Some of these items are from the base game, but going back to the centerpiece, it looks like this is our fairy world, and it looks like in that new expansion pack we'll be getting a swing set here, which would be nice if we could get like a slide and other playground equipment, just fun stuff like that. But it also looks like this plant is new. These ones look new as well. And then of course these weird mushroom type plants, not really sure what those are. And then maybe these plants, I think a lot of them are new, but then check this one out. This one kind of reminds me of the elephant ear plants. And then it looks like these trees are new as well. But moving on to this looks like more like it's supposed to be a castle house. Do you see this part right here? I think we'll be getting some new roofing maybe. And you can see there's a little point there and a little point here. I wonder if we might be able to like build little castles or something. That would be really cool. Now it looks like we're gonna get some new fencing. Here is a fence right here where it's all enclosed, and then we have a little outhouse. No, just kidding, I don't know. Well, maybe it is the outhouse, I don't know. But you can see it looks like we're getting some new, what do they call them, roof decorations? I don't know. But also there is a chimney here, so maybe we'll get that. Again, there are there is another fence here. If we look closely, you can see there's either vines or some sort of like a bush, plant, whatever growing on top of that. And then we have this gazebo here. But more than that, we're also getting some moss or some greenery that goes on the roofs, which I'm actually pretty excited about. I think that's going to be really cool. Now, moving on back over here by this little flying fairy, we've got this mushroom type house. I don't know. It also looks like it might be some rocks with moss on top of it. But right here looks to be a little door. What I would love to see is if this is actually like a house that we could build and actually go inside of. I think that would be so neat, just being out of the ordinary and building something that looks totally different from the norm. Now, we do see some plants here that are probably new. It looks like we're probably going to get a lot of new plants. Obviously, they've been hinting to that. We're going to move on over to this side here. Now we do have a giant gnome, but let's take a look right here. Looks like we have a fairy that's doing some sort of mischievousness, whatever. Looks like they're doing something to the gnome. That sounds weird, but I don't know, maybe they're sizing it up, sizing it down, maybe making it come to life. Who knows? Wouldn't it be so cool if you just had like the giant gnome come to life and then your Sims are like, running away all scared? That would be funny. And then this gnome has some butterflies on it, so maybe we'll see some butterflies flying around. It would be cool if we could fly off with the butterflies and whatnot. It looks like we might get some outdoor string lights. That would be really nice. This kind of looks base game to me, these chairs. It does look like we're getting a new food stand, which I feel like they always put in, you know what I mean? Food stands, bars. Sometimes they like to do a multitude of bars, which is always insane to me. Now, I can't tell if these plant items are base game or not. It's too far away for me to tell, but these trees do look new. And then over here, yeah, we did talk about this fairy doing something to that tree trunk, and these two are arguing. It looks like there's a bar or a restaurant type deal, something rather, but it looks like this is more of a park setting. I'm not sure why that guy's just sleeping there, but you know Sims do the most random things. But you guys are going to have to let me know what else you're seeing on this picture that I may have missed. Now, I do want to point out these vines here. Now, maybe we'll be getting some more vines, so that would be pretty cool too. One thing I do want to know is that in The Sims 3 Supernatural, they did have fairies, and you could size your fairy down, or you could make them as a human, like human-sized Sims. So I'm hoping that they're gonna do something with that, and maybe even like they could live in a teeny tiny house. Like, ooh, it would be so cool. What if they could live in the Sims, in the like the child Sims dollhouse? Oh my god, that would be so cool. I like that idea. And if you watched my last video on the fairies that we were talking about, we mentioned that the supernatural fairies were mischievous and they love to play tricks on people, or I guess I should say other Sims. One of those was putting color in shampoo to turn the Sims' hair and themselves a different color. Another one was pranking the toilet to make it not work or whatever, stuff like that. In The Sims 3, you could create a fairy and create a Sim just like how you would create a mermaid in The Sims 4 Occult, you know. In The Sims 3, you could search for fairies, and sometimes that would allow you to become a fairy. There was also an elixir that could turn a sim into a fairy. So I'm wondering if all these potions that they've been hinting at are elixirs to make your sim turn into a fairy and to perform tricks on Sims. Now, from The Sims 3, fairies are good at gardening. They possess those gardening skills a lot quicker, and they are very charismatic. And I believe there was something about the moon where they would basically like charge by the moon or something. Like they would get their energy or something from the moon. And except for there was a certain time where it didn't work, where they would become angry or something like that. But fairies were able to enter in a fairy house. They could ride on a train set. They could go into a claw machine and pick out a prize. But there was also something else that Sims would do. Regular Sims would try to swat the fairy Sims, you know, they're so tiny, with a fly swatter. Obviously, fairies were able to fly, but I also believe in Realm of Magic, you know, spellcasters can fly. Isn't that a thing? So, we're also going to take a look at what we've got in this picture to see what might help us decipher what we might be getting. Ooh, I see a bowl here to crush some stuff. Books. Obviously, we're gonna need lots and lots of books. Ooh, we've got a plant with some eyes. Ooh, a new archway with I want to say vines, bushes. I don't know, what would you call that? Now, this is really cool. Looks like we may get some trees with these, what are they called? I don't know, hanging down purple things. It looks like we might get some teeny tiny houses. There's a little bunny, and obviously we've got the potions and mushrooms all around. Ooh, colorful flowers. Oh my gosh, is this gonna be like a psychedelic thing? Whoa, maybe. And then we have the outhouse. Ooh, the tree has got lightning strikes or whatever. Lightning bolts, lightning strikes. Okay. But, oh, and this one looks like your little fairy could get swallowed in by it. Now, I feel like some of us can just come up with the most random things to this, but, you know, it is what it is. I don't know. Maybe if we come up with too extravagant things, they might stop giving it to us. I don't know. But you guys are going to have to let me know what you think we'll be getting in this Fairies Enchanted by Nature pack. Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next one.